if you understand physics very well, you see that the topic known as motion is a very broad aspect of physics. It falls under the classification of physics called mechanics. Under that, you have the linear motion, you have the motion under gravity, we have the circular motion, we have simple harmonic motion, we'll be having the machines and all of that. These are under mechanics. Now, this very one is coming from Newton's laws of motion. And the question says, a body of mass, 100 grams, moving with a velocity of 10.0 meters per second, collides with a wall. Then, if after the collision, it moves with a velocity of 2.0 meters per second in the opposite direction, take note, in the opposite direction. Now, calculate the change in momentum. From Newton's second law of motion, we simply know that if I have m as mass of the body, I have u as initial velocity, I have v as the final velocity. By definition, momentum of a body is the product of mass of that body and its velocity. That's momentum. Now, if I have mu, this is initial momentum. And if I have mv, that's m times v, this is final momentum. And therefore, change in momentum, this means that change in momentum is simply the difference between the final and the initial momentum. That change in momentum will be equal to mv minus mu. That's the difference between the final and initial momentum. If I factor out my m, it's going to give me m brackets v minus u. Of course, this is physics. You're supposed to know how to manipulate your formula, take it to its simplest form. But one thing is very, very important, that if after collision, the direction of motion is opposite. If after collision, the direction of motion is opposite, momentum in the opposite direction is negative. So this simply means that instead of having this, now here, if I have this as change in momentum, since the momentum of the other body, the after collision is opposite, I'm going to be having the change in momentum as mv minus mu. That is momentum, after collision, the momentum is opposite direction. When minus multiplies minus, I'm going to have plus, so this will give me v minus is plus mu. Then factoring out my m, we're going to have m bracket v plus u. Now, the question says we should find the change. This is the change in momentum according to the question. Remember that the mass of the body, m, is equal to 100 grams. And the standard unit of measurement of mass in physics is kilograms, not grams. So how do I do this? I'll convert this by dividing it by 1000, which will give me 0.1 kilogram. 0.1. Dividing 100 by 1000. Because 1000 grams gives me 1 kilogram. So this will give me 0.1 kilogram. Then remember that the initial velocity of the object is 10.0 and the final velocity meter per second, and the final velocity of the object is 2.0 meter per second. Then what do I have here? Therefore, change in momentum, which is actually m bracket v plus u, will give me the mass is 0.1 times my v is 2.0 times my u is 10.0. Plus 10.0. So what do I have here? This will give me 0.1 in brackets. 2 plus 10 is 12. That's 12.0. Now 0.1 times 12.0 will give me 1.2, which will give me 1.2. Normally, the unit of measurement of momentum, since it's a derived unit, its unit is kilogram meter per second. Mass is measured in kilogram, velocity is measured in meter per second. So its unit is kilogram meter per second. But if you look at the units here, it is in Newton seconds, not in kilogram meter per second. And this is the SI unit of impulse. And that is why impulse is equal to change in momentum. So I have in Newton seconds. Since impulse is equal to change in momentum, their SI units are the same. So going to the options, this is the correct option is option B. Very, very simple. This type of question is very tricky. Students will tend to be using mv minus mu, but forgetting that after collision, that the direction of motion is opposite. And because the direction of motion after collision is opposite, the momentum after collision will become negative. And that's why we have a minus, which is from the equation, times the minus, which is the negation of the second momentum, because its direction is opposite after collision, will give us plus. And so the answer is this. Thank you for watching, and remember to share and subscribe. Also comment. Bye.